All right, we're going to talk about how Jerome Powell sold between $1 and $5 million of his personal stock as the economy was tanking in the fall of 2020. We are now only just being made aware of this through SEC disclosures, and people are saying, ain't that funny?
People like us who are saying ain't that funny, because if you're selling more than $1 million of stock as the market was tanking, and this is on the heels of the other members of the Federal Reserve who two of which have now resigned.
Yes.
After this after this information came out that they were investing in stocks that they basically had a direct umbrella control over.
Well, they have a pilot's eye view of where we're going, right?
They know that they're going to be funneling $120 billion in stimulus money to this particular company or this particular company.
Right. They do know that. They don't know what Congress is going to do. They did not know whether the stimulus bills would be voted upon, up or down. So we'll give them that. And maybe it begs the question, should they be investing at all, right? Is it fair to hold them to certain standards? Or, do they have to disclose right away what they're doing, so the rest of us we'll do it too.
Well, why are we just learning about this now? This is the thing, right? So we knew about the three other senior Fed officials have faced serious criticism about this for making stock trades. We had Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan. We had Boston Fed President Eric Rosengren. And then you had Fed Vice Chair Richard Clarida also came under fire for stock trading. And now they're under investigation by the SEC.
Is there an argument to be made, though, that they don't want to tank the market by disclosing these sales?
If they're going to take a board membership, a lot of these guys come from Wall Street ahead of time, right? They worked at hedge funds. They were a part of of these different funds. They were a part of these different companies and private equity firms. Then they become Fed chiefs or Fed chairs, et cetera, in these different. They should have to give up these stocks or be putting them in a blind trust.
But it was an index fund. Okay, blind trust would solve a lot of this, but it's an index fund.
So if they put it in a blind trust, you'd be happy about that?
I suppose I would.
Yeah. What is a blind trust then? I mean, if you have if you take your stocks and stick them into a blind trust, is that then blind? Like what you stuck in there, or is that not how it works?
I think you have a project manager.
So to say that person's like investing in certain things.
I suppose so. But I mean, again, I'm just playing devil's advocate, because if he had told us on October 1st of last year, hey, I'm selling off all my stocks because it's just going to get bad right now, then would he have been responsible for causing a panic?
Yeah.
So, yes, I think the sort of a good solution to this is that they don't have front seat management, or for an IRA, we're required to have what they call arm's distance.
Right.
Right.
But why are we just learning about the Fed chair in this? I mean, again, he didn't come out and say this. He's held a couple of meetings now publicly in front of the Senate and in front of the House Banking Committee, right? So he's sitting there, and we only learn about this because documents were released about this.
Because of the personal tax filing extension date, do you think?
I don't know.
Which was
it says
week?
From his personal account on October 20th, 2020. Okay, so this is well after the pandemic was underway. And according to disclosure forms reviewed by the prospect, Powell's sale of shares from a Vanguard Total Stock Market Index fund had not been previously reported. And this sale occurred right before the Dow Jones average suffered a significant drop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, how does he get this? How does he know? Wow, there's probably a big drop coming up here in the next few days. I'm going to sell off $5 million worth of stock. You don't just do that unless you know something.
Well, of course he knew something.
That's
right?
illegal. I mean, to me, that's unethical. That is where he is 20 steps ahead of average investors who are watching our show, right? Mm-hmm. Who are watching our show and who are thinking about investing. You don't have access to that kind of information.
Absolutely not.
He saved himself millions. He made profits, locked in those profits, and sold, and then the stock market tanks.
Yeah, I'm not.
Are you defending it?
No,
okay.
I'm not defending it. But I do think that. Well, I think we should let him defend himself.
Okay. Well, Yeah, he can defend himself. He's welcome to come on the show and defend himself if he wants, but I'll read further on this because, as the Prospect reports, there is no American with more insider knowledge about government policy that drives financial market movements than the chair of the Federal Reserve. And as COVID caseloads, hospitalizations, and deaths spiked last fall, the economy was in a precarious condition. October turned out to be the market's worst month since March.
Also, this was like hours before Donald Trump was diagnosed with COVID, which also tanked the market, if you recall.
Right. So, I mean, did he know something, right? Did he have insider knowledge that, hey, President Trump has
I
has
doubt
COVID?
it. Trump's COVID case was broken by a reporter. They were not trying to.
Man, I bet McDonald's stock tanked that day.
Because he can't taste or smell.
He can't get his quarter pounders. I don't know. I think, in a speech, it's pointing out that I guess he sold it on October 1st, and then a speech on October 6th, after his sale of the stock, Powell warned that failure to enact stimulus could have tragic economic consequences. The expansion is still far from complete. Too little support would lead to a weak recovery and unnecessary hardship. And then, not too long after that, the markets tanked 376 points on the same day.
Again, Trump's diagnosis was that October surprise, though. You'll remember the markets tanked on that news. So I do not think Jerome Powell knew about that. I don't think. But I don't know. Maybe they're besties.
Thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can also become a channel member by going to morninginvest.com/join, where you can stick it to the mainstream media and support independent journalism. We're able to bring you the stories that you won't see on any of the major billionaire-backed networks. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time, everyone.